Greetings, family. Today we're going to be teaching about the true nature of reality. Let me just check on the camera here, making sure we're in the frame. Just pull it back a bit. All right, so we're gonna start from the eternal space, and that is what we call the I am. This I am is what is prior to thought. Another name, we could say our awareness. So this is actually what we are. We really have to understand that we are awareness. We are the space in which the thought and feeling, right? Or let's just say for simple terms, the mind and the body are appearing. So this is you with this beautiful, beautiful energy. And at all now moments, you have access to this infinite power, or we could say creative energy, right? And we really have to understand that we're creating within two things: our thought and our feeling. The I am and the am, or the I am that I am. So I've been studying this book called the I Am Discourses for a while now, and this text is basically by the Ascended Master Saint Germain. And these teachings are the most important that I have ever come across, or we could say, or ever will come across. Because this contains the eternal truth, which is that I am God, right? Oh, that's blasphemy. That's blasphemy that he's saying he's God. How dare he be saying that he's God? Well, what else would I be? I genuinely don't know what else I would be, because whenever my these thoughts disappear, all there is God, right? Or we could say pure consciousness. And that's just self-shining. So that's what I am. That's what you are as well. That's what we all are. This is unity consciousness. And that's what I'm here to share, is the good news that we are all one being, and that we all have one identity, right? And that is the I am. So first, it's becoming aware that you're aware that the space is everywhere, which is the I am. And then that's when we can change our thoughts and our feelings, because we are given the power to generate thought and charge it with feeling or emotion, right? Which is energy in motion. So energy is always moving, right? We have this stream coming from source, this waterfall of energy constantly pouring into us. And this energy is pure. It's pure love, it's perfection, it's abundance, it's health, it's all of the traits of the Godhead, right? All of the traits of your real self is pouring through you. But a lot of us are qualifying our thoughts and our feelings with a destructive and a contractive, or to put it in simple terms, a negatively polarizing thought. Say for something like, I hate myself. That breeds feelings of self-hatred and of unworthiness and of anxiety and of fear. And if we have the thought, I love myself, then we're bringing in, that's a constructive or an expansive thought. And an important aspect of this is that thoughts alone are not enough. It has to be felt. Like, you could go on saying, I am the oneness of God's love, I am pure bliss. But if you're feeling contractive, if you're feeling anger, right? If you're feeling guilt, you're feeling shame, you're feeling separate, then I'm not saying that these thoughts aren't important to have, because any positively polarized thought is good, right? But this is where we get into this idea of duality, right? So the I am is non-dual. It's pure beingness. There's only one, right? There's zero or one. It's nameless. You can't actually name it, so that's why we call it the I am. Names and forms and the manifestation begins downstream, and it begins with basically thought, because everything is thought prior to it coming into a feeling or an action, pardon me. So if I have the thought that I'm gonna go to the post office, right? Then all as the I am agree with it, and next thing you know, this body, and I'm not even thinking about walking, I've just agreed as the I am with that thought of walking to the post, and then now it's happening. Now it's coming into creation, so we can see how important our thoughts are, and not so much that, but it's the belief as well. The belief, right? Because obviously all day we could say negative thinking. I think that we've come up with this stat of maybe 5%. Like, if you're honest with yourself, how many positive thoughts are you invoking throughout the day, and how many negative thoughts? And that's why meditation, right? Meditation is everything. And I'm not saying necessarily sitting and meditating. That's very important as well, to still the body, to really bring in a stillness, and close your eyes. But everybody has a different type of meditation, and there comes to a point where you realize that life is meditation, or meditation is life itself, right? So basically, this is a format of how we can start a conversation, and really bring in this awareness of what is actually going on here. All right, so hope this gives you a little bit of an idea of where we're going with it. So we're basically qualifying this pure energy, this pure potentiality within our thought and within our feeling. This is also how we can self-heal, because the frequency of I am is so high. It's the supreme itself, right? Or the supreme frequency. So when we get in touch with that, we have Dr. Joe Dispenza calling it the blackness, or the void, or the quantum field. Or this is universal love. So we know that love heals all, or another word for it is awareness. Heals all. And we know that Carl Jung talked about individuation, or we could say self-realization. And I'm going to also talk about we have the conscious and the subconscious, or the unconscious, or the collective consciousness. So down here, this is making up 5%, and this subconscious, or it's also, we could say the shadow. I mean, this is the idea of shadow work. But what happens is, as we awaken to what we really are, we start to pull out all of the gunk, all of the darkness, all of the identification that's been programmed into our subconscious. And believe it or not, this is very deep. As we know, there's layers to this. And it's almost like it never stops, right? Like for me, I'm 10 years deep, right? And I'm still hearing thoughts that are, we could call them insane, right? Insane, wow. And it's also another way we could just call it the ego mind. So it's not that any of this is bad, but as I talked about before, identifying with it is not really going to get you anywhere. What you got to do is basically just witness all of this conscious, witness the thoughts, witness what you're feeling, witness what is coming up in you. And as you do that, you're now allowing the darkness to come up. We'll call it the darkness, into the light of awareness. And by simply just being aware of it, you're beginning to purify, you're beginning to heal, because this is so supreme. This is the almighty power of God. So this has nothing on this. I mean, this is God we're talking about, aka awareness, this infinite power, and this is what we are. So we allow all of this to be seen, and that's where we now understand, or we understand what we are not, ultimately, right? What we are not these thoughts. We are not these emotions. We are the I am. This brings us back into self-inquiry, and how if we just realize, to whom are these thoughts appearing? Oh, to me. And then you're free of it. Like there's nothing to figure out. The I am is doing all of it, right? We've already talked about how there's only one power, one intelligence, one love, and that's what you are. So the idea that you have to figure something out, or in my experience, it's all false, right? Yes, like it's great to be integrous, but that's a dream too, because integrity means different things to some people because it's part of the dream. Like what I feel is integrous could not be integrous to someone else. So that's part of the change. That's part of the illusion. That's not real. That's not real. There's only one reality, and you are already that. There's nothing for you to figure out. You're already free, family. And that's where we can now just celebrate the now. Right? Like the victory. You've already won. Once you realize that you are awareness, right? The victory has begun. And everybody's returning back to source, right? So it's part of creation, right? Creation loves to play with itself in its manifestations to learn, right? To learn about itself, to teach, learn about life. And this is what we are, right? This is exactly what is going on. So it's a part of evolution where we'll say there's, for the contact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? To do the 7 energy centers. So these are all this is a frequency, and I'd imagine that there's an infinite amount of these, but we, in this realm, we talk about the 7 energy centers, right? The root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. So we can say that the frequency is very high frequency up here. And as we go down into earth, it gets denser. It's not that this is a bad thing, but if we're identifying with the density of our body mind, which we could say starts here, right? This is the heart, so this is the center, or the green ray. This, I mean, we're all of it, right? This is all a part of ourself. But we can say we kind of drop down, and that's why if we just begin to put our awareness on the heart center, which is, that's why we call the self the heart as well, because that communication, the heart communication. I mean, the heart is the self. It is awareness. So once you realize this, you've already won, and the victory has begun. So now you're just witnessing it unfold. So we could say, now going back to the I am affirmations, is that you saying I am is basically declaring that you know that you are God, or that you are given this gift of creation. So I am, and then whatever you say after it is part of your thought and your feeling, and that's what you're creating. And that there's no world outside of you. Like, you're making this all up. This is your dream, right? And people think it's a private dream, but we're all telepathic. Right when you think it's a private dream, you're creating that prison that I talked about for yourself. And that's why it's interesting that the I am is also the prison, because and it's also the way out of the prison. So when you say the words I am, just be careful that you're not actually claiming that to be you as well in the thought, because you're always before it. You're always prior to thought. And that's why it can be tricky to, quote unquote, escape the wheel of samsara. Because it's very easy to be hypnotized and to identify with our thoughts. And even when we're getting into this practice of I am affirmations, say like, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the light, what you're really saying is what already exists. You're basically stating an obvious statement, or something like, I am perfect health, right? Perfect health already exists prior to you saying that. It's because we've wrongly qualified our thought and feeling with negativity, and with how all disease starts from disharmonious thought patterns. And that then manifests into our physicality, or then we believe in these oppressors who basically are business people that are taking you to take a vaccine that doesn't, it actually destroys your body and damages your body, and is telling you that it's good for you. It's not. That this is all black magic. Don't listen to anybody that is trying to convince you to take something because they're trying to make money of basically saying that this is what you have to do, and this is why you have to take all of your power back and your sovereignty and realize who you really are. And you will never be enticed by any of this black magic. You know, the only type of magic that we want to be doing is white magic, right? Because it's karma-less. And true white magic is actually being the self. And that's how you're of greatest service to the world, is by just being yourself and dissolving the idea that there even is a world, because then you're immediately in recognition of the alignment with the divine will, which you can't be anything separate. You only thought that you were separate from it. So remember that you're making this all up, and you can bring an end to it right now. And how do you bring an end to it is to realize that you don't even have to bring an end to it, because it's already over. Because it's over the minute you stop identifying with the false self. Just stop doing one thing. And you'll realize, like, the I am is so powerful. God's love is so powerful that it will overpower any of this. And remember, what you're going to be feeling all of your past creations, which what we call suffering. And you're feeling that because you're healing that. So, let's take this as something good, right? When something's coming up, like, oh, this is a gift. And immediately when you develop that attitude, you're already transcendent of the idea that it's a problem. Because you're making everything up. There is no such thing as a problem. And people are living their life perpetuating this, putting this onto you as that like you're part of their stuff. But no, how can I be part of your stuff? I am pure awareness. I am detached. This word detachment is more important than your mother, than anybody. If you understand detachment, then you understand everything. Because when you're detached, you're disidentified and you've taken back all of your power. And then you can create. You can choose, oh, what do I want to create? I want to create love. I want to create kindness. I want to call forth this I am presence. I want to state these affirmations that are true, that actually are constructive, that are empowering. I want to empower my brothers and sisters. I want to teach my community good things that are actually beneficial, that are actually constructive to life. Because the universe wants you to win. We've just been blocking ourselves this whole time because we're afraid of freedom. The ego is afraid. The ego is absolutely afraid of freedom. Because guess what? It's the blockage to freedom. The ego is the block. And that's why you'll have to feel everything to then integrate the truth. And then you will naturally emanate with, and this is not something that's cool. This is not something that you have to try to be. This is what you are, so it's effortless. And it will be felt. And if it's not felt, then who really cares? Because that you're serving the world, right? You're serving not the world, you're serving the creation in good ways. Because as the great sage has said, the greatest service you can render or give is your own self-realization. Right? You're already self-realized. So focus on that. Focus on finding out who you are. Focus on being who you are. And put your attention on yourself, on the I am, instead of putting your attention constantly on this idea of who you think you are. And then immediately self-realization will reveal itself by itself, because it is yourself. And that's it. Then you're already of greatest service. Just by being, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter whether you're a tradesman, whether you're working at the ice cream store. Those are all just the roles we play in life. Whether you're working at Home Depot or you have a an online store. That's all just for fun. That's all how we partake in this reality or in this dream, or maybe they're the exact same things. And as long as you know who you are, then you're being love. And that is what is important, my friends, is to be love and allow that energy to pour through you and qualify it with goodness, with something that's constructive, with something that's healing. And then you will be an angel on this earth.